Good morning, students. So today we are going to start next part of our third chapter, electrolysis and Faraday's laws of electrolysis. Okay, so first of all, electrolysis takes place in the container which is known as electrolytic cell. Okay, or that container is called electrolytic tank, and that whole thing is called electrolytic cell. That particular apparatus in which electrolysis takes place is called electrolytic cell. Now it is just reverse of electrochemical cell. In case of electrochemical cell, what happens? There is change, chemical energy is changes to electrical energy, and in case of electrolytic cells, electrical energy changes to chemical energy. Okay, so what happens? Let us talk about a very simple example. uh, Simplest electrolytic cell is two copper strips dipping in aqueous solution of copper sulfate. Okay, so we have to use external source of voltage in this, and when we will apply DC voltage, then copper 2 positive ion that will discharge at the cathode, and this reaction will occur. Okay, what we have taken? We have taken two copper strips dipped in the copper sulfate solution, and what is the reaction going on? At cathode, this reaction will occur. This is reduction reaction. Similarly, at anode, this reaction will occur. This is oxidation reaction. Okay, so what happens? Copper, which is acting as anode, that gets dissolved, means that undergoes oxidation. Okay, and that particular rod, copper rod, which acts as cathode, that whole copper gets deposited at the cathode, which is copper. So this is the criteria for purification of a large number of metals. Okay, so this process is useful for purification of metals. Now, according to this, whatever we did now, what was there? There was deposition of a particular metal on a particular electrode. Now, there are some laws which are related to this process. This process is electrolysis. There are two laws. One is Faraday's first law of electrolysis, and then Faraday's second law of electrolysis. Faraday's first law of electrolysis is the mass of any substance deposited at any electrode is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through the electrolytic solution or molten electrolyte. Okay, so what is the law? Amount of substance deposited is directly proportional to the quantity of charge passed. So if we say W is the amount deposited and Q is the charge passed, then W is directly proportional to Q. When we remove the sign of proportionality, then it comes W is equal to ZQ. Okay, now amount of charge passed Q is equal to I into T. I is current in amperes and T is time in seconds. So the relationship becomes W is equal to ZIT. Okay, so W is equal to ZIT. This is the relation which is used for numerical purposes. Now, here we have used the term Z. Z is known as constant of proportionality, and it's called electrochemical equivalent. So, sometime we are asked, define electrochemical equivalent. So, what we will do? If we take current as 1 ampere and time as 1 second, then W becomes equal to Z. Okay, when W becomes equal to Z, then it means we can define our electrochemical equivalent as electrochemical equivalent is equal to weight of substance deposited at a particular electrode when 1 ampere current is passed through the electrolyte for 1 second. Okay, so this is the way how we define electrochemical equivalent. Now let us come to second law of Faraday. So what is second law? When the same quantity of electricity is passed through the solution of different electrolytes connected in series, the masses of the substances produced at the electrodes are directly proportional to their equivalent weights. Okay, now see what does it mean? That when we have taken more than one cells and those cells are connected in series, then what amounts will be deposited in different cells? It depends on their equivalent mass. So W is proportional to equivalent mass. Now here when we remove the sign of proportionality, then that constant is called Faraday's constant, and Faraday's constant has value 96500 coulombs. So 96500 coulombs, this is the value. Okay, now let us solve one example. Suppose we are given a solution of copper sulfate which undergoes electrolysis, and for 10 minutes we pass a current of 1.5 ampere. Now how much mass of copper will be deposited? So in this, such cases what we do, first of all we write the ions formed, then how that ion changes to atom, that equation we write. From that equation we come to know how many moles of electrons are used. Now in this case there are 2 moles of electrons. 2 moles of electrons are used for deposition of 1 mole of copper. Now 1 mole of copper is equal to gram atomic mass of copper. So it means that when we pass 2 moles means 2 Faraday of electricity, then there is deposition of 63 grams of copper. Then if we pass 1 coulomb of charge, then how much will be deposited? 63 by 2 Faraday. For numerical purposes we have to take this also, this only 96500. Okay, then how much charge we have passed? So Q is the charge which can be calculated by current in ampere multiplied by time in seconds. So this is the time in second. So this value is 900 coulombs. So 900 coulombs if we pass, then how much is deposited? So by unitary method we can calculate the value, and that value comes out to be this much. Okay. Now when we are talking about electrolysis, what about the products formed? Whether products will be same in aqueous solution and molten solution, or they will be different. So what we have to remember, products of electrolysis will be different if we are taking aqueous solution or we are taking a molten form of the electrolyte. Okay, so let us discuss. Product of electrolysis depend on the nature of material being electrolyzed and the type of electrodes being used. Now see, electrodes are also of 2 types. Number 1, inert electrodes, and number 2, interfering electrodes. Interfering electrode is that electrode which contains those atoms which for which ions are available in the electrolyte. If ions available are of the same atom which is present in the electrodes, then such electrodes are called interfering electrodes. But if it is not so, then they are called inert electrodes. Just like in the electrolysis of sodium chloride, if we use any other electrode except sodium or chlorine, then what we will say, that will act as inert electrode. Okay. Now inert electrode is which do not participate in the chemical reaction. Okay, and acts only as the source for electrons. On the other hand, if electrode is reactive, then it participates in the electrode reaction. Such is called interfering electrode. Okay, and so products will be different. Okay, so this is the difference. Now let us take one example. If we take NaCl, in its molten state products are different, and in its aqueous state products are different. If we take molten form, then the products of electrolysis are sodium metal and chlorine gas. Why? Because there is availability of only sodium ion which will undergo this reaction, and there is presence of only chloride ion which will undergo like this. So sodium ion will undergo reduction and chloride ion will undergo oxidation, and we will be getting chlorine and sodium as products. But if we take aqueous solution, then what happens? Then there is availability of H positive ion also with Na positive, and there is availability of OH negative ion also. Now how does it affects? When there are two ions which are available for reduction, then that ion will undergo reduction for which reduction potential value is high. Okay. Similarly, when there are two ions available for oxidation, then that particular ion will undergo oxidation for which oxidation potential value is high. Okay. So in this case, when there are Na positive and H positive ions, then we have to see the electrochemical series. Now see what we have to compare. We have to compare their reduction potential values. Okay. Now see, if we look at the table, then for Na positive, value of electrode potential is negative, and for H positive it is 0. So value of reduction potential value is higher for H positive as compared to Na positive. So H positive will undergo change. Okay. Similarly, if we compare for Cl negative and OH negative, then change will take place in Cl negative. Okay. So same way the products will be formed. Now whatever we have discussed, on the basis of that you have to solve these numericals and this home assignment. Okay. Thank you.